ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पशत देशतारिणी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। नमो ब्राह्मण देवाय गो ब्राह्मण हिताय च जगद्हिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय ते नमः। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनन्तकोटि वैष्णववृन्द की जय। नमस्ते ठाकुर की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। We'll do one kirtan. So this is a bhajan written by Bhakti Vinod Thakur Prabhupada. So this is from Gita Vali. Yeshomati Nandana Brajaparunagara Kukula Ranjana Kana. Yeshomati Nandana Brajaparunagara Gokula Ranjana Kana. Gopi Paranadhana Madana Manohara Kaliyada Manavidana. Gopi Paranadhana Madana Manohara Kaliyada Manavidana. Yeshomati Nandana Brajaparunagara Gokula Ranjana Kana. Amala Harina Mamiya Vilasa, Amala Harina Mamiya Vilasa, Vipina Purandara Navina Nagara Bora Vamshi Badana Suvasa. Vipina Purandara Navina Nagara Bora Vamshi Badana Suvasa. Yeshomati Nandana Brajaparunagara Kukula Ranjana Kana. Brajajana Palana Surakula Nashana Nanda Godana Rakhovala. Brajajana Palana Surakula Nashana Nanda Godana Rakhovala. Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Sundara Nanda Gopala. Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Govinda Sundara Nanda Gopala. Yeshomati Nandana Brajaparunagara Kukula Ranjana Kana. Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Basanahara Rasarasika Kripa Moya. Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Basanahara Rasarasika Kripa Moya. Shri Radha Vallabha Brindavana Natabara Bhakati Vinodashaya. Sri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natabara Bhakti Vinoda Acharya Yeshomati Nandana Brajavarunagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Yeshomati Nandana Brajavarunagara Gokula Ranjana Kana. Anybody wants to read the translation? Neha Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes, Mataji, I'll read.
Yeah.
Number 1, Lord Krishna is the beloved son of Mother Yashoda, the transcendental lover in the land of Vajraha, the delight of Gokula Kana, a name of Krishna, the wealth of the lives of the gopis. He stills the mind of even Cupid and punishes the Kalyuga serpent. Number 2, these pure holy names of Lord Hari are full of sweet nectarian pastime. Krishna is the Lord of the 12 forest of Vraja. He is ever youthful and is the best of lovers. He is always playing on a flute and he is an excellent dresser. 3. Krishna is the protector of the inhabitants of Vraja, the destroyer of various demonic dynasties, the keeper and the tender of Nanda Maharaja's cows, the givers of pleasures to the cows, land, and spiritual senses, the husband of the goddess of fortune, the butter theft, and the beautiful cowhead boy of Nanda Maharaja. 4. Krishna wanders along the bank of the river Yamuna. He stole the garment of the young damsels of Vraja who were bathing there. He delights in the melos of the Rasa dance. He is very merciful, the lover and the beloved of Srimati Radharani, the great dancer of Vrindavana, and the shelter and only refugee of Thakura Bhakti Vinoda. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. So today we'll be learning about 3 Acharyas, Gaur Kishore Babji Maharaj and Bhakti Vinod Thakur and then Jagannath Babji Maharaj. So three Acharyas. Can see them on screen. My screen is visible.
Yes,
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So welcome everyone once again. So Gaur Kishore Das Babji Maharaj. So can someone tell me whose spiritual master was he?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj.
Yes, very nice. So here he was the only disciple he took, right? He was the only disciple he had, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Yes, very nice. So he is a disciple of Jagannath Babji Maharaj, okay? And he's a associate of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Like when Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Prabhupada, he used to take the sessions, Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, he used to go and attend. So we'll see today about all the 3. So the pranama mantra. Namo Gaura Kishoraya. You all can repeat. Namo Gaura Kishoraya.
Namo Gaura Kishoraya.
Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye.
Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye.
Vipralambara Sambodhe.
Vipralambara Sambodhe.
Padambujayate Namaha.
Padambujayate Namaha.
Namo Gaura Kishoraya.
Namo
Gaurapishoraya
Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye
Shakshat
Sakshat Vairagyamurtaye
Vipralambara Sambodhe
Vipralambara
Vipralambara
Padambujayate Namaha.
Padambujayate
Namaha. Thank you. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Srila Gaurakishore Das Babji Maharaj, the spiritual master of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, who is renunciation personified. He is always merged in a feeling of separation and intense love of Krishna. So he is called as Bhajananandi because most of the time he used to always chanting the holy name of the Lord, right? So he used to chant 3 lakh names, but then officially he used to tell like 2 lakh names, but in ecstasy 1 lakh name extra he used to chant, but he never used to disclose that to others. When he says, he used to tell, okay, only 2 lakh name I chant. So he was always in, what is it said here, Vipralamba Rasambodhe, means always in feeling of separation of Krishna. So who else was in this Vipralam Bhav? Where else have you heard?
Haridas.
Haridas Thakur. Okay, exactly like somebody's mic is. Yeah,
Chaitanya
Vipralam Bhav.
Mahaprabhu.
Yes, Charu Mataji, very nice. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually comes. He's a Krishna himself, but he comes in a mood of Radharani, and he wants to know that Vipralam, the separation of Krishna. Radharani in separation of Krishna. That is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? That is the highest. So being with Krishna, more than that, if this separation from Krishna is said to be the highest in love. So he is always in that, and he is a Vairagya because he's detached from everything else. He's only attached to Krishna. We will see his life. Okay, then you will understand how he was so much detached from all the materialistic things. And though he was like in material life, he's illiterate, in the sense he was not studied or anything. But then he had all the knowledge, right? He was highly elevated in spirituality. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he used to give him, he used to say that for any examples of when he wants to tell about renunciation, he used to say Nirapeksha. Nirapeksha means is an indifference to anything. Like we cannot even imagine how, today I think most of he also, Jagannath Babji also, all of them have showed how renunciate they were in their life, right? So we'll see his early life. So he was born in a Vaishya family. So Vaishya is who? Vaishya, what do they do actually? Vaishyas?
They're traders.
Merchants.
Merchants.
Yeah. So basically Goraksha and Krishi, no? Krishi and Goraksha, the main thing. So was known by name Vamshidasa. Vamshida's parents had him married at an early age according to the custom of time, but always remained detached from household life. Though he was married at an early age, he always remained detached. And he was engaged in some agricultural trade, and from the income took care of his wife and family honestly. 1849, Srila Gaurakishore Babji, Das Babji left Grihastha life after the death of his wife. So he was very young. He was just 29 years when his wife died, right? So immediately he leaves and he takes the Vanaprastha life at that age. And his Diksha Guru is Sri Bhagavata Das Babji, a disciple of Sri Jagannath Das Babji Maharaj. So, and for 30 years he stayed in Vrindavan performing bhajan under the trees at Giri Govardhan, Nandagrama, Varshana, Radhakunda, Suryakunda, Raval, Gokula. Sitting in seclusion, he chanted 2 lakh name of Krishna every day. So that will come to 128 round. So it's not easy, right? So because his life was so simple. So his actually, though his Siksha Guru, the Diksha Guru is different, right? Here we see Sri Bhagavata Das Babji, but his Siksha Guru was Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Mostly he used to attend his classes most of the time, and for anything he used to go to him. So he admired him, and he admired Jagannath Babji Maharaj, right? So Jagannath Babji Maharaj is the Shiksha Guru of Vinod Thakur, and he's a just associate. Yeah. So he used to, and he used to chant like 2 lakh names, right? And basically, I mean, 3 lakh names he used to chant, but then he used to say that he was chanting only 2 lakh names. And what was his mood? So Gaur Kishore Babji was embodied form of Sri Rupa Raghunatha's renunciation. So Rupa Raghunath Goswami was also born in a very aristocratic family, you may all know. So he renounced everything, and he was actually a grihastha. Many times he left family and came, and then he had to, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to force him to go back, and he has his responsibilities. But then again he came, and finally he accepts him. Like he was such a renunciate. So all the Goswamis, right? We have a Goswami Ashtaka where it is said, like only there, Tyaktva Turnam Ashesha Mandalapati, means they renounced all the opulence. I mean, considering that to be very insignificant. Tucha means so least. No, so all the Goswamis are like that in our sampradaya. If we take, so Gaur Kishore Babji Maharaj also was like that. Was very renunciate. So sometimes he ate parched rice mixed with Ganges water, or simply some mud from banks of Ganga. Can you see? Because he was not accepting anything from materialistic people. So whatever he had, that rice, that also what he used to take from devotee house, and also that just soaking that, soaking the rice, and then for that he used to have just like with the some chili or salt like that. And sometimes he used to make, I mean, they used to be like near Ganges, no, some waste pot, mud pot. In that he used to cook and offer for the Lord, and he used to have the prasad. So other time he took madhukaris from the Vrajavari Vasis. He drank from a rejected clay pot. On Ekadashi he didn't eat or drink a drop of water. Completely detached, he used discarded cloth from the corpse left on the banks of Ganges to cover his body. So even the cloth that he wore, right, that was the dead body. He used to take from a dead body and he used to wear it. He was not using anyone else. So much vairagya. That is why he is called as Vairagya Murti, right? And to keep mundane people from approaching him from material boons, he once resided in the laboratories at the Kulia Dharmashala in Koladvipa for 6 months. Because people knew that he was such an elevated soul, they used to come to take his blessings. So to avoid that, he used to go and sit in that it's public toilet, right? Laboratories means it's a public toilet. So there he used to sit and chant. Actually, once what happens, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, his one of the disciple asked, like, he want to know about cleanliness. And then he says, you go and speak to Gaur Kishore Babji Maharaj. He's sitting in the laboratory. Then he's thinking, oh my God, how is this possible? Like, I want to know about cleanliness and I want to go and ask someone who is sitting in the laboratory how to approach. And then he says, you go. And then he goes there. And when he knocks, he doesn't open. He tries many times, he doesn't open. And then he comes back and he says, I tried many times, he's not opening. Then he says, you just go and tell him that I am a disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, right? So when he says that, he goes and tells near the door, and immediately he opens and he embraces him. And he embraces and he says that, my Prabhu, because though Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada was his disciple, he called him also Prabhu. Like he treated everyone like that equally. And he says that this embracement, whatever I have given you, that will help. I mean, you are going to, this is going to help Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, because there were many, they tried to kill Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, right? In last class we saw like how some of them, they tried to kill him, but that didn't happen. So that is also one reason is that that was given that mercy of Gaur Kishore Babji Maharaj. So that was, and he says that cleanliness is actually in the heart. So he is pure at heart. That is why you go and get his blessing. That is why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada tells him that. And sometimes when people used to come to him for the taking blessing, he used to tell that Tumara Sarvanash ho. Sarvanash means actually what he meant, all the materialistic whatever wishes he has or desires, let it get destroyed. That was, and still people used to come because they know, like if they take his blessing, everything will be good in their life. No? Spiritually, one can advance. So he would pay respects to every person, cow, animal, bird, tree, creeper, insect, ant in the holy dham. Because being born in a holy dham itself, it's not a small thing, because they have done, they all, even any animal or insect which is born in Vrindavan or a holy dham, it is said to have done so much of pious deed in a previous life. Otherwise, it is not possible. And due to some offenses they have committed, they have born as animals. So next life they will not be born, right? Because it's not easy to be born in as a animal also in Rajtam. So one instance I would like to tell here, like Prabhupada. So once Prabhupada had he had a class. So before when he was going for the session, before that, there were few dogs were barking very loudly, right? So then Prabhupada says, go near to them, and he says Hare Krishna, and then immediately it stopped barking, and then Prabhupada went, and the session completed. And after session, before that, then again after some time, some other dogs, they were barking, and then this devotees, his disciples, they told the full mantra, Hare Krishna mantra, right? So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But then they're not stopped barking. They kept on saying, they're not stopped barking. And then when the session completed, he wanted to ask Prabhupada. Then they go to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada, so why is this? You told just Hare Krishna and the dog stopped barking, and I'm telling the full mantra, but the dogs are still barking. Why is that? And then Prabhupada says that I said on the soul level, right? I am seeing the soul of that animal, and you are telling it, considering it to be a dog. See, so much difference. So because he's considering it as a soul and he's talking to, he could understand. He was able to connect to the soul. So that is what here also it is said. Like Gaur Kishore Babji Maharaj, he was seeing every person, cow, animal. That is what, no? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Swapakesha Pandita Samadarshinaha. So when they are on a platform of Brahman, self-realized persons, they see everyone on an equal platform. So while staying in Varshana, he made a flower garland every day for Radha Krishna. After 30 years of rendering intimate services to Radha and Krishna in Vrindavana, Babaji felt inspired by the divine couple to see Sri Navadvipa Dama. So once he meets Jagannath Babji Maharaj in Vrindavan, and there he was always chanting and doing kirtan. Then he suggests, Jagannath Babji Maharaj says that you have to go to Sri Navadvipam, and there you have to do kirtan, right? So he carried two books written by Narottama Dasa Thakura, that is Prarthana and Prema Bhakti Chandrika. So these two books were always with him. And once actually one person comes, and he says that he wanted to give that book, and he says that this is 50 paisa. So the person, that time it was very costly. People were not even having so much money. So he says, I don't have. So he says, then okay, give 25 paisa. And then that also he don't have. And then finally he says 2 paisa. Okay. And then he agrees and he gives it. And then he says, like, okay, if it is 2 paisa, you are able to give this 2 books. This is the 2 books he's carrying. So he give it to one person for 2 paisa. And then he says, if you can, then why did you tell me so high, 50 paisa? So then he says that, so because the other remaining, it is to be used in the seva of Vaishnavas. So doing kirtan japa is one thing, but then doing the service is also, he showed that how serving the Vaishnavas is also so important, right? And he tells him that remaining that should be used in the serving of a Vaishnavas. So recognizing him to be a Mahabhagavata, many tried to serve, but he never accepted. Regularly, he associated with and heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Srila Thakura Vinoda in Godruma Dvipa. So there are 9 Dvipas in Mayapur. So this is one of them, Godruma Dvipa. If any of you have been to Mayapur, you would know. So constantly absorbed in bhajana, Srila Babaji Maharaj had no desire to make disciples. On the request of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, however, he reconsidered. Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babji accepted one disciple, Sri uh, Varshabhanavi Daita Dasa, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura. So actually, though Bhakti Vinod Thakur could have initiated his son, right? He was also highly qualified. So he could have initiated, but then he does not do that. He says, you have to go to Gauri Kishore Babji Maharaj and you have to take the initiation from him only. So many times he goes there, but he rejects. I think this I told in the last class also. So many times he gets rejected, and he remembers of Ramanujacharya, who was rejected 18 times by his guru, and then that's what make him that have the patience, and then he keeps going, and finally he was not, he was giving different reason, right? Once he was saying like I have to speak to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then I will tell, and somehow, and then next time he will tell I forgot to ask, and then he go, so Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada, he goes to his father, and then Bhakti Vinod Thakur comes and tells him that why don't you give him the initiation, please consider him as your disciple. So then he says, no, I was just actually trying to see how serious was he, right? And then he accepts, and he puts dust of his feet on his head, right? So that's how he does. He accepts him as his disciple. So immediately Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he went on ecstasy, and he was in that ecstasy for 3 days. Can you imagine? He was in 3 days in that ecstasy, and then because that was so powerful, the dust of a pure devotee. So Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada says that my Guru Maharaj, he jolted me, like, because he shaken me. He was like a so much. I mean, he was an erudite scholar, no? He was Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada we saw last time. So how he was himself a scholar, but all my ahankara was removed by my Guru. That's what he says. But it's all of humility. He didn't have any ahankara as such. But then he says like that my Guru Maharaj, he said, he removed everything. And not just that, though he was a scholar, but whatever doubt he had, still he was able to give answers for that, right? His Guru. So we'll see what are his teachings. So Gaur Kishore Babji Das Babji advised a Calcutta doctor who wanted to open a free health clinic in Navadvip Dhama. If you really want to live in Navadvip Dhama, then give up your desire to run a free clinic for healing sense enjoyers. If you want to render substantial service, then renounce everything except what promotes Hari Bhajana. All other kinds of duties and services simply bind one to the ghastly cycle of karmic reaction. So this is one of the teachings of Gaur Kishore Babji Maharaj. So where he says, so because these are all, this is what kind of thing, what will happen if we do good for people? So here he says, don't do, the people opening the orphanage, right? Orphanages or hospitals. Here he says that don't do that for healing the sense enjoyers. So what kind of deed is this in karma? We have karma, akarma, vikarma, no? What is this?
Karma.
Yeah. So what will be the destination of people who do such kind of things?
They'll bind in the cycle, birth and death.
Yeah, but they can also go to the highest planet, right? They can go. They will be binding, means when the pious deed is over, they have to come back here again to take the birth, right? So that is the problem. So here he is on that level, because Krishna also says in chapter 4, like karmano hepi bodhavyam cha vikarmanah akarmanach bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. One should know what is karma, right? And one should know what is not karma, and one should know what is akarma. So not karma means which is bad, right? But doing something which is not in the scriptures, that is not good, adharma, or that karma, sorry. So vikarma it is called. So akarma means, what is akarma? What is akarma?
Not expecting any fruitive results, just doing the work.
Is it what kind
Service.
of work?
Yeah,
What kind
service
of work?
to God.
Bhakti,
To be
anything
Bhakti.
related to Krishna.
Yes, very good. So basically devotional service, right? That is called as akarma. So that we have to do akarma, then it will not bind us. Otherwise, it will bind. So he says it is better to take renal and promote the Hari Bhajan, because that is the highest. Even Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, when Prabhupada first time went to meet him, right? So he says that first for our country we need independence. But then what did he say? More than independence, Krishna consciousness is more important, because you are helping that person, the soul, not just for this life but for next life. No? But whatever the other things what we do in the name of welfare, that would be only for some time and only for this life, no? But it cannot elevate the person more than that. He will have to come to this birth and death cycle. But then if somebody gives harinam, that person can go to God, back to Godhead, no? So that is the highest. So this is one of the instruction he gives. So Babaji Maharaj spoke gravely to a newly married man. So once a newly married person, a couple, they come. So what is the advice he gave to a grihastha? A Vaishnava wife is extremely rare and difficult to find in this world, right? Even Prabhupada being a top Vaishnava, his wife was not a pure Vaishnava, because he didn't get any support from wife. So it is not easy. So anyone can tell me from history, who was a great Vaishnava, a Vaishnava wife who served her husband so nicely? Any example you can recall from Bhagavatam?
Devahuti.
Yeah, very nice, Mataji. Devahoti, yes. So she was a son of Manu, Swayambhu Manu, but then how she served her husband. I mean, she renounced everything. She didn't even take care of her body also. For many years, she didn't even have a children, right? She was only serving the husband. So that is why he says it's very difficult to find. If one has the good fortune of having one, he should see it as a benediction from Krishna. So Krishna's mercy is there, otherwise it is not possible. So the wife worship the husband as a lord and master. So this is the way how a wife should treat, because husband is in service of Lord. So then it is duty of, Prabhupada says it's a duty of a wife to serve her husband, because he is serving the Lord. So that is why it is called as Grihastharsham, no? Because Krishna was center. So the wife worship the husband as her lord and master. Similarly, the husband should worship the wife because she is Krishna Dasi. She is also servant of Krishna. In this way, husband can protect his devotional enthusiasm by not considering his wife of his to be his maid servant, but she is always the maid servant of Krishna. So this is the other instruction which he gives. One who wants bhojana, eating palatably, will spoil his bhajana. So this was his favorite quote of Srila Babaji Maharaj. In other words, eating here and there simply to gratify the tongue, bhojana, destroys any attempts to worship Krishna, bhajana. Once a devotee ate some festival prasadam in his bhajana kutir. Babaji Maharaj would not speak to him for 3 days. On the 4th day, he said, "You accepted festival prasadam given by a low-class harlots and beautiful women. Because you took food without considering its origin, your bhajana is useless." Okay, why is so much stress given to the food? Yeah, why should we not have food from here and there? Why is he saying that? What will happen? What will be the effect of having such food?
We incur sin
For with
that
Krishna.
is not offered to Krishna.
Yeah, and not with proper consciousness also.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. I think I lost. Neha Mataji, am I audible?
Yes, Mataji, you are audible.
Yes, Mataji.
I'm not able to hear any of you. Neha Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah, I am audible, but can someone speak? I'm not able to hear.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
No, it's not working for me. Something happened. Oh, give me a second. I think I need to reconnect my device. I'm not able to hear the other side.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Neha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah, now I can hear. No, actually, I was not able to hear the other part. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
But Mataji, you were very much audible to us.
Yeah, I was audible. I was not able to hear the other side. Huh?
Okay.
You. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Thank you, everyone. So why is that? Because it is not offered to the Krishna. And also not only that, one more thing is there. What will happen if we have such food? What will be the effect on us?
It will be poison.
Poison in the sense? No, good food also. Like in hotels or like if we have, what will happen?
It affects our consciousness.
We
Yes.
accumulate our sin.
Yeah. So basically, our consciousness, yes, both are right. We accumulate sin. Krishna says, no, if you don't offer, then it is uh, uh, yes, Sthena eva saha. In the third chapter, Krishna says that he is a thief if one is not offered. But then the other one thing is that it affects our consciousness mainly. No, it will affect because it is that is why it is said when we prepare food, our consciousness should be really good. We have to hear some about that about Lord or put some kirtan and then we have to cook because the consciousness is going in the food and. That is why he was very strict in that. So even if somebody in outside, if it was in the name of festival, if some karmis they do, he was not even he was condemning his disciple, right? So the essence of Srila Gaurakishore Das Babji Maharaj instructions, the divine name of Krishna offers the one and only shelter. One should never try to remember Radha Damodar's transcendental pastime by artificial methods. Constant chanting of divine names will purify the heart. By chanting Hari Nama, the syllables of Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, will gradually reveal the spiritual form, qualities, pastime of Sri Krishna. Then you will realize your own eternal spiritual form, service, and the 11 particulars of your spiritual identity. So, when we many people tell that when I chant, I like to think of God in some form or some pastime. So this is not recommended. Here he say here Kaur Kishore Babji Maharaj says that it has to come naturally. It should not be like artificially. One should not try to imitate. That is why Prabhupada also says when we chant, only thing is to it should be the work of mouth and ears. We chant loudly and hear with our ears. That's all. But we should never try to think or remember any pastimes like that. So it will come. one day will come when we are very sincere and we are doing the chanting very seriously. Then, because these people, they all knew their what is their spiritual form. They're all manjaris, no? All these Goswamis, they are manjaris from the spiritual world. So that they will then know, we will also, all of us have some relationship with Krishna. So now we don't know about it, right? Because we are on a material platform. But when we come to that platform, we will realize what is my relationship with Krishna. Yes. So his disappearance. So on 19 November 1915, Srila Gauri Kishore Das Babji Maharaj joined the eternal blissful pastime of Gandharvika Giridhari. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura was heartbroken to see that Mahants, abodes of various Acharyas, ashramas were busily arguing about where and how to bury his body, as future Samadhi temple will be possible source of money making. So there were other sadhus in the name of sadhus, but they wanted to make money. So they wanted to construct a samadhi for him, and then in that name they can make some money. So he wanted to do that. So he was, we know, like he's a lion Acharya, and he was very disheartened to see that people wanted to make money from that. And he says that nobody can touch his body. Like, I am the only disciple, because he was the only disciple, only one disciple he had in his whole life. He didn't make any more disciples. So we can see that these sadhus were so fallen those days, no? And then he asked them, so if you want to touch him, he then asked, like, if there was any amongst them who had not had illicit sexual relation in the previous 6 months, or even in, so he asked them, if you want to touch them, then none of you must have had illicit sexual relationship in last 6 months. So few of them go away. And then he asked, okay, then in 3 months, he comes to 3 months, then more people go away. And then he comes to 1 month, and then last previous 3 days. And then he says, if you, I mean, if you still dare to touch, then what will happen? He will not, they will become, they will burn into ashes. Like he says like that. So then they are all afraid, then they don't go. That means none of them were pure. So nobody goes and they touch that, right? So they slowly slunk away one by one. And one more thing, like in the Samadhi, so his disciple, the Bhakti, Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada's disciple, Bhakti Pragyan Maharaj. Okay, he was the one who first goes to him and he knocks at the lavatory, no? So he is the one. So he comes, he brings the Samadhi itself in hand. How did he get that strength? It is not easy, no, even to take a body, it is difficult. But it is said he brought the Samadhi and he placed it near to Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada, right? So he was shocked. And Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada, he could make out that this was only because of the mercy of Gauri Kishore Babji Maharaj, because then he thinks about him and weeps and weeps, because how merciful he is that he wanted to be in his association. He wanted to give his association to his disciple. So this is one incident. So his beloved disciple, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura, established his samadhi on the banks of Sri Chaitanya Mat, Radha Kund, near Lord Chaitanya's Yoga Pit in Sridham, Mayapur. So if we go to Mayapur, we can see this and we can take his blessings. So in Braja Leela, he served Srimati Radharani as Guna Manjari. So he is known in Vrindavan Leela of pastimes of Krishna and Radha. So he is a Guna Manjari. His Pushpa Samadhi stands beside the Radha Kunj Bihari Gaudiya Mat near Radha Kunda. Okay. So Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babji Maharaj ki
Jai.
Jai. Yeah. So we'll go to now Srila Bhakti Vinoda Thakur. So, okay, you can repeat after me. Namo Bhakti Vinodaya
नमो भक्ति विनोदाय
सच्चिदानंद नामिने
सच्चिदानंद नामिने
गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय
गौरी शक्ति स्वरूपाय
वरयते
रूपानुगवरयते
नमो भक्ति विनोदाय
नमो भक्ति विनोदाय
सच्चिदानंद नामिने
सच्चिदानंद नामिने
गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय
गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय
रूपानुगवरयते
रूपानुगवरयते
I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sachidananda Bhakti Vinoda, who is transcendental energy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is a strict follower of the Goswamis, head by Srila Rupa. So his childhood name was Kedarnath Datta. He was born in 1838 and he was also known as Kamala Manjari. He was a Kamala Manjari, the seventh Goswami. So born in Nadia, it is in town of Mayapur, okay, in Kolkata, West Bengal. So it's West Bengal. Father name was Ananda Chandra. So he was called as seventh Goswami by his friend. He had a friend, Shishir Ghosh, right? So he said that I have not seen the six Goswamis because these six Goswamis are really renounced, no? So Goswamis means whom do we call as Goswami? What is the definition of a Goswami?
Control over senses.
Control of the senses.
Yeah, who is a controller and controller of senses. So he says, I have not seen six Goswamis, but I have seen a seventh Goswami, and that is Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur was a very pure soul from the beginning, right? And though he was a grihastha, he had a strong inclination towards spiritual life. And from childhood, he knew the Ramayana and Mahabharata. He had actually learned from one of the his gatekeeper, right? And he was inspired by it. And as a child, in his childhood, he had written 30 volumes on Alexander the Great, right? And then he had also wrote 25 volumes of book, like on Vikram Betal. Vikram Betal stories are famous, I think many of you know Vikram Betal. It used to come in TVs those days. When we were children, it used to come on Sundays. No, if you anyone remember that Vikram Betal story, what will happen?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Yeah, what will happen if you don't? He will ask the king. He will ask the question at last. After that, he will tell a story, and if he has to answer, that will be the condition of that ghost. No, otherwise I will eat you. So every time, but then he will keep telling. He will give the answer, and then next week there used to be some other story. So he had written that. So he had written 50, each volume had 50 stories, like that 25 volumes he had written. So one of the Britishers also, they used to call him as a genius. And we know like how the Britishers also, they made a train, right, for his travel. So we'll see in that next slide. So he's called, his father name was Anand Chandra Datta. Mother name was Jagat Mohini. Guru Jagannath Das Babji Maharaj. So his spiritual name was Sri Satchit Ananda Bhakti Vinoda Thakur. He was a great Vaishnava, poet, preacher, Acharya, magistrate. So all this, because though he was in a material life, he was working as a magistrate, but then he had written many books, hundreds of books, and he has translated also from Sanskrit to English. And he was he is called as main Acharya of Kali Yuga. Why? Because he found the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was reading this Chaitanya Bhagavat book, and in that he was able to make out time. In those time, people had a confusion whether Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace was on the Eastern Ghat or on the Western Ghat. But then he had the map also, and he could identify. He was so brilliant. He could make out that it is on the eastern side, right? And then he goes there. And he could see that there was a neem tree. That was the description where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, below that neem tree, no? His mother gave birth. So that neem tree was there, and there were a lot of tulsi grown there. And there was some effulgence coming. When he goes in during night also, there was a effulgence coming, and from that he could make out. And that is why because of him only we could get that back about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace. Otherwise we could never know where was Maya. So this was founded by him only, and that is why through him we could get this Mayapur Dham. So his contributions used pen as his weapon, right? He was very strong in his literature. So yeah, and broke all the upper sampradayas, including Sakhi Bedis, Gaura Nagiris. So there were many upper sampradayas those time. So basically, some of the sampradayas, they brought the deities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they worshipped as a supreme personality of Godhead. Actually, that is not right, because he came as a devotee, in the mood of a devotee, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that was not encouraged. So he broke that and wrote 100 spiritual books, including Harinama, Chintamani, right, and Bhajan Rahasya. So he discovered the Yoga Pita, birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, and he wrote many Vaishnava bhajans. So it is said that his bhajans, if we sing, so when the class started, I sang that Yeshomati Nandana. No? It is also written by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So there are many Vaishnava bhajans, and if somebody is very lusty, or they're very difficult for them to come out of that lust. So if they are able to sing a bhajan of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, then it will immediately, he would be able to conquer the lust. So because it is transcendental, it is not a normal bhajan. No, because these people are not normal. They are all manjaris. Is a Kamala Manjari in spiritual world. So it is so effective. So that is why Vaishnava bhajans we need to learn, and the tunes also you can learn from the ISKCON Desire Tree. There with the tune also we can get that we can learn, not with any filmy tunes or anything. And he sent the book Sri Gauranga Leela Smarana to Canada in 1896. So that was the time when Srila Prabhupada appeared in this planet. And ray of Vishnu, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada was born when Bhakti Vinod Thakur had become very old. So when Lord Jagannath tells him that, what is he doing? What is his mission? Has he forgot his mission? And then he says he need to propagate the Krishna consciousness. Then he says, I become very old. I need your help. You only send someone, your associate from your spiritual world. Then that's how Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada was born. This we saw like last time. So he that's how his son was born. And then this Harinam, how did it spread? Like the Bhakti Vinod Thakur in the Bengal, he tried to give, and Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur throughout India, but Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, he gave around the world to everyone, right? The Harinam was given irrespective of any caste and creed. Prabhupada gave that to everyone. And and one more thing here, like the birthplace, right, of Jagan, he found it, and then he wanted confirmation from a very senior pious sadhu, and then he goes to Jagannath Babji Maharaj, and then he says that I need your confirmation. So he had a disciple, he carries him on a basket and he brings him. Actually that time Jagannath Babji Maharaj was 125 years old, right? And he comes, but when he sees that place, he immediately jumps high. It is said that he jumped high and he says, yes, this is the place where Chaitanya is born. This is the place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says in ecstasy. So that's how he is also one reason because of whom we are able to get this place. So he was the one who confirmed it. So there were few predictions made by Bhakti Vinod Thakur Prabhupada. So predicted the appearance of our Srila Prabhupada. So he made the predictions. So he said that a personality will soon appear and he will travel all over the world to spread the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So at that time, his son was born, and his he he still, I mean, he knew that this is not his son. This is not going to be his son, but it is one more. That is, Prabhupada is going to be born, and that time only he predicted that that personality is going to uh, a different part of world and to reach this Krishna consciousness. Right? Prabhupada went at the age of 70 years. No? Very soon, chanting of Harinam will be spread all over the world. So this he could foresee what was going to happen, right? Hundreds of years back itself. Fair-skinned foreigners will come to Mayapur and join the Bengalis to chant Jaya Sachinandana Gaurahari. See, this is now we can see. I mean, there are so many foreigners already, and they are grihasthas there who are settled in Mayapur, right? This he could see then only, because that time no foreigners had come there, but he could see. So he was not an ordinary person. So these are few pastimes. So ghost haunted tree. So there was in the British time, there was a tree which was, I mean, everybody were very afraid to go near to that tree because it was haunted by ghosts. Everybody believed it so, and there was a proof also, because if somebody goes there and if a person goes, he would disappear, and after some time his bones would be left there. So everybody were afraid to go, and the Britishers tried sending their people, right? They sent their people sometime, the soldiers, they from their side, but when they went there, they all vanished, they all disappeared, and all their bones were gone. So and this ghost demanded some feast on Sundays, so they had to send a feast also, right? So one day, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he himself volunteers that I will go there. So he says, I can go. And then he goes and he starts telling the Bhagavatam. No? Bhagavatam for 7 days, he gives the Bhagavatam lecture. And then what happens? The tree broke in the middle. So that means the soul that which has become a ghost, it got liberated. And after that, there was no, I mean, nothing happened after that. So that was, this was the one Leela. And then he was a big, he was a scholar. So actually, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, though he was a district magistrate, he had his own bhajan kutir where he used to go and do the chanting, and he used to write books and these things, all Krishna conscious related. So these British people, they made a path for him, train path, so that he can come without difficulty to the court, right? He was such a scholar. So otherwise, how can a person, for a single person, they had made a path for the railway track to come to the this one. And also there was a scholar, one a poet or a writer, he was known Rajaram Mohan Rai, right? You all have heard the name. So he was very he for him he was actually Brahma Samaja. He was the founder of Brahma Samaj, and he had written one poem where he said that Nirakara, I mean, something he wrote like you have your pada, right? He was talking about the Nirakara, but he's talking about the he had Nirakara. I saw your feet, something like that. Okay, Nirakar means what? There is no form, and he says that Nirakar, I saw your feet. So then he points out, he also and Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada, they both pointed out that that is mistake, right? And also he had for one of his book, he had wrote a preface also for Rajara Mohan Roy. So that was the thing. And these Britishers, they had to open the dictionary to see his works. Means if we see the literature of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, so it will be so hard to understand. I mean, even Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada also, we cannot, even Prabhupada, right? Prabhupada also, we need a dictionary to some words. So similarly, the Britishers used to open the dictionary to understand what he has written. So such high was his level of knowledge, right? And Jagannath Rath Yatra, wife Bhagwati Devi and son Bimla Prasad. So this, right, and how during Jagannath Yatra, all the three chariots, they stopped in the middle of that on the Grand Road, where his house was there. And the child, the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he was just a small baby. So then they take him there. No, he says that anyways this Ratha is stopped. Why don't we go and take blessing? So when they go and take blessing, and then the garland falls on him. So that to show that he's the ray of Vishnu, that is, he's sent by the Lord himself. So that was the other pastime. And he left the body in 1914. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur describes surrender unto Supreme Lord in this way. Marabhi Rakabi yo ichha tohara nitya dasa pratituya adhikara. My Lord, I am now surrendered unto you. I am your eternal servant, and if you like, you can kill me, or if you like, you can protect me. In any case, I am fully surrendered to you. So this was about surrender. So surrender means completely, there is nothing, whatever they do, it is for Krishna. There is no desire for themselves. No. So it is Anyabhilashita Shunyam. So there's no other desire than to serve the Lord. So, and this is the same there is one more shloka where in Shikshashtakam also, Krishna, the last shloka is also similar, no? Where he says that, here also he says, if you like me, you can, if you like, you kill me, or if you like, you can protect me. So completely surrender to Lord. So even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in that, right? Ashlishya mam padaratam pinashtu mam adarshanan marmahatam karotu va yatha tatava vidadata lampato mat prananatastu sanaeva paraha. So you can do anything, Krishna. You can either accept me, or you can trample me under your feet. It's left to you, he says. Na? It is like he has so much of faith in the Lord that Krishna is the only protector. Rake Krishna, Mare Krishna, Rakeke. So if Krishna wishes to protect, nobody can do anything. And if Krishna want to kill, nobody can save that person. So this was his daily routine. His always anxious to see every moment in loving service of Krishna. He followed a strict austere daily schedule. See his timings. So 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. he would rest, just 2 hours. And 10 p.m. to morning 4 a.m. he used to write. And 4 a.m. to 4:30 rest, 4:30 to 7 a.m. chant japa, 7 to 7:30 correspondence, 7:30 to 9:30 study shastras, 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. bhat prasadam, half liter milk, fruit, chapatis. And again in the and 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. he would court duties he would go. And 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. he will refresh at home, he would have some food. And 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. again he would resume his work, court duties. So 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. translate Sanskrit Shastras to Bengali. 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Bhat prasadam, half liter rice, milk rice to chapatis. So summary, sleep 3 hours, only 3 hours he used to sleep. Write 8.5 hours. Japa, study 4.5 hours, work 6 hours. We find it difficult only for doing one japa and keeping some time for reading. No, see how much time in the same 24 hours. Everybody has the same 24 hours, but how he is, yes, of course, we can't imitate. I mean, Prabhupada says we need 6 hours sleep. More than that is too much. Yukta hara viharasya, Krishna says, no, in chapter 6. Yukta hara viharasya, yukta chestasya karmasu, yukta sapnava bodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkaha. Only that person can come out of the misery who is regulated in his work. Yukta hara, in food. ahara, yuktahara, viharasya, in recreation, yukta chestasya karmasu. So in the work, he has to be regulated, and yukta swapnava bodhasya, even in the dream or in the taking rest. So only that person can mitigate all the miseries. So Krishna says that. So he has been shown as an example there. So these are the famous bhajans of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur has sung Krishna se tomara Krishna dite para, tomara shakati ache. In this song, Bhakti Vinod Thakur describes that a pure Vaishnava, as proprietor of Krishna and love of Krishna, can deliver both to anyone and everyone he likes. Therefore, to get Krishna and love of Krishna, one must seek the mercy of pure devotees. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, Gopi Padakamalayo Dasa Dasa Anudasa. How can we get mercy of Lord? Only when we become servants of Krishna, servants of Krishna. So now the last, I will not take much time, I think. Maybe another 10-15 minutes. Is it okay? Or should we continue in next class? Let me know. This is another 10-15 minutes it will go. Hare Krishna, please confirm me.
I'm okay to continue, Mataji, if everybody is.
Okay, should we continue? I'll try to complete in 10-15 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes, I think. Yeah. So now, Srila Jagannath Das Babji Maharaj. So Pranam Mantra. Gauravirbhava bhume svam
Gauravirbhava bhumestvam
nirdeshta sajjana priyaha
Nirdeshta sajjana priyaha
Vaishnava sarvabhaumaha
Vaishnava sarvabhaumaha
Shri Jagannathaye te namaha.
Shri Jagannathaya te namaha.
Gauravirbhava bhume svam
Gauravirbhava bhumestvam
nirdeshta sajjana priyaha
Nirdeshta sajjana priyaha
Vaishnava sarvabhaumaha
Vaishnava sarvabhaumaha
Shri Jagannathaye te namaha.
Shri Jagannathaya te namaha.
I offer my respectful obeisances to Srila Jagannatha Dasa Babji, who is respected by entire Vaishnava community and who confirmed the discovery of place where Lord Chaitanya appeared. So he was the one who helped, who confirmed that this was the place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu birth. So he lived for 144 years. So his Diksha Guru was Sri Madhusudana Das Babji, did bhajan for many years at Surya Kunda in Vrindavan. His practice was to live 6 months in Sri Navadip Dham and 6 months in Vrajamandala. Thakur Vinoda received valuable instruction on pure devotional service from Jagannath Das Babji. During his time, said Thakura Bhakti Vinoda, Sri Jagannath Babji was the most advanced Rasika Vaishnava in Gaura and Brajamandalas and Purushottama Kshetra, which is famous to be known as Jagannath Puri. So Bhakti Vinoda Thakura gave him the title Sarvabhauma, the chief of Vaishnavas. So he was the topmost Vaishnavas. So once what happens in Vrindavan, so he was doing Madhukari and he goes to the sweeper, right? He goes to a sweeper and he says that, can you give me some food, the bhiksha? Then he hesitates, the sweeper hesitates and he says that, no, how can you, don't come near me because you're a sadhu. I'm low born. No, you can't come to me. Please don't come near to me. He says, no, you have to give me some bhiksha. So he says, then he gives some food. That person gives. And this became a big news in the whole village. All the other sadhus, they got very upset. Why did he go and take from such a low level person? No, is a sweeper and he has gone there. And they all are very upset. They come to him and they ask, what did you do is not right. And then he questions. Jagannath Babji asked them, okay, tell me, who is the greatest in the Vrindavan? They all say that it is, of course, Krishna. Who is greatest? Krishna. Then he says, they all say, greatest to Krishna is Krishna's devotees. So greatest to them, who is greatest to the devotees? He says, the dust of a pure devotee, because we say, no, we just need a dust of a pure devotee, then our life will be successful. So he says, okay, we all aspire to get that one dust, but that sweeper is daily sweeping that road, and so much of dust is accumulated on his body. Whole body is full of that dust, no. So he says is full of mud. Now tell, who is the great Vaishnava? I mean, who is the greatest devotee? Because he must be so fortunate, because that dust where Lord Krishna and Lord Balram have run, I mean, who has played in that Vraj Bhumi, no? Ramandreti, we all, I mean, in Vrindavan, there's a place where it's a very soft, nice mud is there. And there it is said, that was a place where Krishna and Balram played. And when we went to Vrindavan last time, no, from temple, when NND Prabhuji took all of us. So there we all, I mean, it is, we have to take that, what you call that? The people roll there on the mud and they play there, because that is so purifying for us to take the dust where Lord himself has played. So then he says that, so that is why we can understand he's a great Vaishnava. And there was one more incident where his his disciple, there was one, he's called as Bihari, who was the one who was carrying him, right, on the basket. So he gives him food, because he was, I mean, he was so old, he could not, I mean, he had kept the two chapatis to him, and he left. So what happened? He would have very slowly. He would have slowly, and by the time what happens? They were nearby. There was a dog which had given birth to many puppies. All those puppies came and they put their mouth in the plate. So Jagannath Babji Maharaj, what did he do? He was eating one and he was feeding them also in the same. And then Bihari sees this, and then he come and then he chases them out, all of them puppies. And the next day also the same thing happens. He gives and then the puppies come and eat. Then he thinks that maybe because his eyes was always like so tightly closed, it was very difficult for him to open. Someone else had to open his eyes when he had to perform any puja, right? And so what he does, he thinks that maybe Babaji has not seen the puppies. He's thinking the vasis. He says, Babaji, say that, uh, uh, no, the second day also it happens. And the third day, what happens? He tied them off. So he ties them off. The puppies didn't come. So Babaji asks, where are the Dhamvasis? He says, Dhamvasis? They're not Dhamvasis. Then he says, maybe he could not see. And he says, they're all puppies. They're not, no. Then he says, no, don't call them. Whoever is born in Vrindavan is not an ordinary. They are Dhamvasis. They bring them. I want to have prasad with them. See his consciousness. Can we even imagine? So that was the level, right? He was so elevated. So at 25 years old, his body appeared bent like a semicircle. We can see here, it was so completely bent. His eyelids hung over his eyes like heavy stage curtains. So the sagginess will be there, no? When we become old, all the skin will sag. So eyes were hanging, so it would be closing. So it has to be opened by someone. Standing on either side, two disciples would lift his droopy eyelids so he could offer Tulsi Manjaris to the deity of Sri Giriraja Govardhana. So he had a deity. So if he had to offer Tulsi to them, so these disciples on the either side, they have to open. So that was his condition, but still he was a pure devotee. At the age of 142, couldn't see or walk. Bihari, his Vrajavasi servant, used to carry him on his shoulders. So in that basket, he used to carry. But whenever there was a Nama Kirtana, would bolt out of his basket and leap 4 feet high into the air. In great ecstasy, he would begin to sing and dance. He performed vigorous bhajana despite physical limitations. So this physical limitation didn't stop him from doing any bhajan. No? So this what he used to jump when there was a kirtan going on. He used to jump from his basket. So he was fond of chanting loudly in both japa and kirtana. During kirtan, he would sing Nitai ki nama enache re, ki nama enache re, ki nama diche re. Oh Lord, Nityananda, what a wonderful name you have brought. Oh Nitai, what a wonderful name you have given. After chanting almost the whole night, the next morning he would offer 1108 dandavats to the deities. He was always enthusiastic to serve the Vaishnavas. So basically, the offering was made in mind, not physically. In the mind, he used to make that offering to the dandavats, to the deities. So he lived as an ascetic, following a strict diet and yearly chaturmasya, 4 months. So first month he would eat only raw bananas, 4 bananas in the evening. Second month only gova, and third month only whey. So that is something which is left when the milk get curdles, no, that part, the watery part. The fourth month only boiled bananas, that banana flowers without salt. To confirm his findings, Thakura Bhakti Vinoda requested Jagannath Das to see Lord Chaitanya's appearance. So this was the place where he jumped, and he confirmed that this is the place where Nimai was born. So this is the neem tree. Intoxicated with Gauranga Prema, Jagannath Das Babji leapt high in the air and began chanting and dancing at the discovery of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Yogapita. Jagannath Das Babji had many disciples. So unlike Gauri Kishore Babji Maharaj, he had many disciples. So what were his instructions? You must avoid men who associate with women. So women you should avoid, and men who associate with women, or with a man who in any way associate with the man who associate with the women. So not just not associating with women, even with a man who is associating with a woman, one should keep distance. So this is for his brahmacharis, his disciples he was giving, right? So to realize the supreme goal of life, you must repeat Harinama regularly and steadfastly. Steadiness is so important that it must be maintained even at cost of one's life. So he was very serious in chanting the holy name of the Lord. So whole day he used to chant, and then he told once to his disciple Bihari that I am going to keep Maunrat, right? So from early morning 3 a.m. to night 7 o'clock, he was chanting. And then he keeps the mala aside and he has some prasad, and again start chanting the whole night. So this Bihari wanted to talk to him something he wanted to say. So he could not. He's waiting. It became 3 days. Same thing. He's getting up morning 3 o'clock. He starts chanting till night 7. He will not have anything. After 7 p.m. he will have some prasad, and again he starts chanting. So it goes for 1 month, and he didn't. He was not able to speak. And then after 1 month, he was waiting. And then he keep aside. So immediately he kept the mala aside. Then this Bihari thought, he came running and he said, wait, don't take the mala. I want to speak to you. Some urgent thing. So he says that nothing is important than japa. And then again he goes to chanting. So he did for another 3 months. So that was the seriousness. No? He was not talking at all. We can't even do 1 round without talking or without closing eyes. No, we'll after 1 round at least we will open. So it is not easy. So for 3 months he chanted, no talk, and then he broke the rath. So this shows that how much importance is there for the chanting. No, and I was hearing to one of the disciple where they were saying that in this we have a lesson also to be learned. So to understand what is important to me, what I mean, not hearing each and anything or everything, giving ears to anything. So there'll be so many things which is not related or not good for our spiritual growth, or which is not elevating us. in spiritual life. So no need to give ears or to rumors. No, don't give ear for anything. How he stopped his disciple from that nothing is more important than the Lord's name. So she was mentioning that our ear is not a public dustbin. Like in public dustbin, we see use me, it will be there. Means you can put anything here. So don't put that label on your ears. Like your ears are not free for hearing anything and everything. So this lesson we can learn from here in this pastime. So Krishna is the avatar of Dwapara Yuga. Gaura is a Kali Yuga avatara. So Kali Yuga, because Gauranga Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is a Yuga avatara of Kali Yuga. We should sing the name and glories of avatara in whose age we live. Just as in the kingdom, we praise the ruling king. Jaya Sachinandana Gaurahari, Jaya Sachinandana Gaurahari. So basically, in whichever yuga you are, you have to follow that, right? So what was that which was followed? The sacrifice in the Satya Yuga. What was the sacrifice? What was the sacrifice in Satya Yuga? It's Chaya Devi Mataji.
Meditation.
Yeah. And in Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, Treta Yuga. Second is Treta Yuga. No?
Sacrificing.
Temple
Yeah.
worship.
Treta Yuga, yeah, was sacrifice. And then in Dwapar Yuga,
That is worshipping.
Temple worship.
yeah, elaborate temple worship. And then in Kali Yuga,
Nama Japa.
Nam Sankirtan.
yes, chanting of holy name. So he stressed that Krishna is for Dwapar Yuga, avatar of Dwapar Yuga, but for Kali Yuga, and for us, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is more like in Gaudiya Madhava Sampradaya, right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than he's Krishna himself. So if we want mercy, because Krishna usually orders, no, he is like do this, do that. I mean, Krishna is like more of like ordering, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he comes and shows us how to do devotion. Krishna only says that you should do like this, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and shows how a devotee has to be, and that's how he taught us. So Jaya Sachinandana Gaurahari. So this is his instruction. And then he says, never forget Gaura, who is more merciful and benevolent than Krishna. Krishna is just ruler who takes into account your offenses in his administration of justice. Gaura does not take offenses into account. So there is no offenses. That is why even we, before chanting, we say the Panchatattva mantra, because they are all so merciful. We take their name so that even if we commit these offenses, we commit so many offenses, no? The 10 offenses we read in the morning before japa, and we are so inattentive. So all these are offenses. But when we take their name and we chant, all these offenses are nullified. So whereas Krishna is more interested in dispensation of justice, Gaura is more interested in distribution of mercy. So this is the difference between Krishna and Gauranga Prabhu. So from this point of view, Gaura Kirtana is more useful than Krishna Kirtana. Gaura Kirtana means Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vranda. So, and this with the last one pastime, I will end here. This is the last, I think. So once what happened, some disciples, I mean some people, they wanted to take Diksha from Jagannath Babji Maharaj, and they all come. So they come and they first go to Bhakti Vinod Thakur Prabhupada and they ask him. So Prabhupada, he tells that you go to him and he will give the Diksha, right? So they all come, and when they come and Jagannath Babaji Maharaj, they give him, he gives some work in the field, no, to do this planting, the farming of the eggplant. There was an egg plantation they had put. He says to do the farming. They all do. They do, but every day they're thinking, I mean, he's not teaching anything on spiritual thing, anything. I mean, month passed by, and it's been a month, and now they're seeing that he's not teaching anything. He's just asking to go to field and work. And they go to Bhakti Vinod Thakur and they ask, so this is what happening. That he's not teaching. Did we come for this to do this work? We have actually come for knowing more about spiritual life and these things, but he is not teaching anything. And he says that you just do what he is telling, okay? Otherwise, I mean, he just follow. Don't, I mean, otherwise you will get destroyed. He says that, and then he says that then they all come back and they continue that for 6 months. Again, another 6 months it goes, and gradually what happens by doing that work, the seva, they become gradually purified. So later Babaji gives them the initiation. Then he says that, so that seva bhav was not there in them. That is why he didn't give the initiation. So it is not that it's not easy. It's not like we may. It's not just taking initiation, but then have we developed that seva bhav in us? No, right? Unless we have that, we are not eligible to take initiation. We need to develop that seva bhav and then engage in service of the Lord, and then only then we can take the initiation. It's not easy. No? And how can we get mercy of Prabhupada? We can get through his books. No, he says here, so that Acharya's mercy is more important. No, for that we have to follow the 4 regulatory principles what Prabhupada has given, and do the chanting 16 rounds and reading Prabhupada books. Right, that will get us mercy. The Shonar Gauranga temple in Gopal Bhag, Vrindavan houses Gauranita. It is once worshipped in Surya Kunda by Sri Jagannath Das Babji. So in Krishna Leela, he serves as Rasika Manjari. So this we can see here, the Samadhi and the Kutir of the Jagannath Babji Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai. You all. Srila Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj ki
Jai.
Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki
Jai.
Jai.
Thank you, everyone. Sorry for taking time, but that I could not finish. Okay, I took more time. I think half an hour was okay. Few people left.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnavindiki cha.
Nice class, Mataji.
Srila
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Okay, we all can chant 3 times Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Can't hear you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Can't hear me.
Hare
Okay,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
I think I lost connection.
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Hare Hare.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think, am I not audible?
Yes, you are, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.